If you're anything like me, it's nearly impossible to not guess the ending of a show while watching it. The feeling you get when nailing someone on the head is so addicting. For that reason, I thought it'd be interesting to try to do it with games I've never played before. But there's a catch. I can only play for 1 hour before stopping completely to guess the outcome of the story. And if I fail to get at least 60% of my guesses right, I'll have to eat one of the hottest sauces ever created. And if that happens, I might just cry. So, with that in mind, let's get into the first game. This being my first ever Metal Gear game, I had no clue what I was in for, though within seconds, I would be shown. I haven't gotten to play a Chad like this since the RE4 remake, but I'm all here for it. Regardless, after landing this insane drop, we would learn about our mission. Long story short, we have to sneak into Russian territory alone with just a knife, tranquilizer gun, and the clothes on our back to rescue a scientist named Nikolai Sokolov. Once this is made clear to us, we then run through the tutorial part of the game where we learn the basics of stealth combat. Being sneaky is very vital to the mission, seeing how we are sneaking into Russian land. Plus, we can't leave any trace that America was involved. As I finally arrived at Sokolov's location, I was ready to learn more on why they wanted him so badly. But then my timer went up. Yeah, I know this may seem like nothing happened in an hour, and all I can say is there was about 15 minutes of cutscenes. Other than that, it was mostly just the tutorial that took up a lot of time. I still have some pretty interesting guesses thought up, but I'm not expecting to get any of them right considering I have legit nothing to go off of. With that said, I guess it's time to lay them out on the table. For starters, I think that once we reach Sokolov, we will be pushed into a new mission. Personally, I'm thinking it'll be some sort of crazy weapon, seeing how they said he was a scientist. I could be wrong though, and Sokolov isn't actually at this location. I'll stick with the weapon theory because there is a lot of talk about the Cold War, but I feel like completing this mission won't be easy as there will be some boss to get in your way. More specifically, I think it'll be someone from Snake's past, and they will be such a threat because they know how to take him down. From this, I also feel like there will be a threat from within. Someone from his team of helpers may betray him. This could also lead to my next guess, him getting caught. This whole mission relies on stealth, yet I feel like something will happen to blow his cover, leading to a big fight. One of my more out there guesses though would be us getting crazy weapons. It could be some legit alien stuff like an energy rifle or something crazy. I just doubt regular guns will be the only thing we pick up throughout the game. My easiest guess would have to be that there are way more aura farming moments. Knowing Snake, I don't think he will miss the chance to gain some style points. For my final guess, which will be pretty basic because there was nothing to go off of, but I digress. In the end, I think we will complete our mission, destroying some weapon, and barely survive. With all of that said, let's get back to the game that will ultimately decide my fate with the hot sauce. After making my way through the camp, I would reach Sokolov, where my suspicions would instantly be confirmed.
A nuclear-equipped tank capable of operating solo. Is that thing finished?
No, this is only the end of Phase 1.
To make matters worse, we would then be ambushed. At least it was by one of my favorite characters.
He's the Ocelot commander.
That's Major Ocelot to you. Don't you forget it.
I really thought this guy was about to be a threat for a minute, then he just gets put to bed in seconds.
You filthy American dog!
Unfortunately, you can't kill him right now. Trust me, I tried. I just know he's going to be a problem later. Nevertheless, we would continue our mission of escorting Sokolov until another one of my guesses would be confirmed. Yeah, I didn't think the betrayal would happen this soon. Plus, we also get a sneak peek at some pretty dangerous foes. After getting some broken ribs and being thrown off a bridge, we would be saved by our team. Once we were fully healed, we would be given a new mission with 3 key tasks. First, destroy the weapon. Second, save Sokolov. And third, kill the boss. That last one seems like a death sentence at this point, cause she knows our every move. I mean, she legit trained us. This of course secured another one of my guesses, that there would be a main enemy in the game from Snake's past who knows his weak points. Thankfully, this will be a problem for later, because right now it's about getting to Sokolov and figuring out how to get rid of any trace of that weapon. Around this time is when we run into
The name's Eva.
Eva is one of my favorite characters, and yes, it's for more than 2 reasons. Besides the obvious horn baiting, she seems to actually care about this mission and helping Snake. At this point in the game, she didn't have my full trust, but at least she felt like an ally in a room full of enemies. She also did this to Ocelot, so that alone gave her some brownie points. On the note of Ocelot though, he would return for some revenge after this road rash.
12 shots. This time I've got 12 shots.
Yeah, this man's ego is on a whole nother level. Sadly, we wouldn't be able to humble him here either, as my worst nightmare entered the game. While this guy just uses his revolvers to swat them away, Snake jumps headfirst into a ravine. This man is insane. Regardless, I really like how they go from the last mini-boss fight to this one. It shows that Snake has really made a name for himself, so much so that all these people want to test their skills against him.
I am the pain.
Now, aside from my deep fear of being swarmed by bees, I really like this boss. The way he uses his powers is very unique. For example, if you throw a grenade at him, the bees will catch it and return to cinder. In the end, the only way to beat him is by hiding underwater and baiting the bees to stop guarding him. After beating him, we get a sort of calm before the storm, because about 20 minutes later, we start running into a bunch of powered individuals. By far, the easiest one would come up next, named Fear. With that name, I expected a lot more. All he really did was show off his crazy tongue and acrobatics. When it came time to fight, he used some of the worst invisibility tech I've ever seen, along with horrible aim. I mean, he did pick the worst place to fight with arrows, because there was way too much cover to hide behind. The End would also make a similar mistake, as he's supposed to be the father of sniping, but chose to fight in a heavily wooded forest. In the end, no pun intended, I would outsnipe and sneak up on him several times. I personally really enjoy these characters as well as their visual style, regardless of how easy they were. This difficulty would drastically pick up with the next boss. The Fury reminded me a lot of Firefly from the Batman Arkham series, but here he was way more of a threat. His fire did a ton of damage if you got caught up in it. So with low health, I got caught in the loop of spawning and dying very quickly. I knew how to take him down, but it took me a while to learn just how powerful the shotgun is here. Once I started using it, I took him out pretty easily. Still, the grief he caused me made him one of the most memorable. Thankfully, after this, I would get a much needed break. Personally, this was my favorite area of the game, though it was also one of the more confusing. I had no clue what I was going to do, forcing me to once again look up answers. It really confused me that you get a scientist outfit as a disguise, but your goal is to get another disguise as well. Now that I've played through it, I understand that you needed the Major's look to get past his guards. Doing so allows you to get to Sokolov again, but before you can free him... Oh.
Who are you?
This was by far the most unexpected scene in the game. I have a lot of questions. Luckily, none of them are answered. Anyway, this leads us to getting captured and breaking out with ease. After a ton of running and hiding with no weapons, we would eventually escape to the sewers. Once again, I called it. This man just can't help himself. Ore farming this hard comes at a cost, and in this case, he had to face his sorrow.
I am the sorrow. Like you, I too am filled with sadness.
I genuinely could have never guessed we would be fighting a literal ghost in this game. Besides that, this boss took me a while to understand as well. I knew that touching them hurt you, but avoiding them was sometimes impossible. Every time you die, you have to restart as well, which really tested my patience. Eventually, I noticed the revival pill at the bottom of the screen, which made me feel stupid, but finally ended my torment. Something that wouldn't be in vain, as they reward your suffering pretty quickly after this.
Nice to meet you, Snake.
Yep, she's back, and gets straight to the point.
Can't even eat a snake during a mission, huh?
I wouldn't mind eating you.
Snake, being the goat he is, doesn't fall to her seduction. Instead, the two rest by the fire and discuss their plan to destroy the weapon. It's pretty simple, just break in and rig it to blow. As you could have guessed, it doesn't go to plan. Ambush by the boss. Oh. No, them two? All three of them. Okay. This is where we are then forced to fight Volgin. I think this fight was cool in retrospect, but it took zero skill. His powers were super flashy, but you just knock him on the ground repeatedly and shotgun him in the face. My favorite part was how Ocelot showed his true colors by letting us duke it out alone, and even helping us by giving us our guns. Maybe I was wrong to judge him. Anyway, after defeating Volgin, it's instantly revoked as he is now controlling the weapon, ruining our entire plan. Now the only option is to take it out head on. This was also super easy as you just spam it with an RPG. It was cool to fight side by side with Ava, though what came from this almost ruined my perception of her entirely.
Listen to me, Eva. We're doing this together.
No, you...
Eva, I need you.
Say that one more time.
I need you.
At first, I was thinking, yeah, this is a pretty wholesome moment. But as I continued through this mission, my Resident Evil PTSD kicked in. But this time on steroids. For those who have dealt with babysitting Ashley in that game, I pray you never go through what I experienced with Eva. I had no clue that you had to feed her until I looked it up. Though even if I wanted to, I didn't have anything to give her. So I accidentally knocked her out and dragged her to the mission. Domestic violence aside, this worked pretty well. Thankfully, as we move forward, I found some animals to feed her. She was still way too slow, but at least she wasn't sitting down every 2 seconds. After pushing my patience to the max, I would then have to take on the boss. I feel kinda dumb saying this now, but I struggled really bad with this one. Now, the only reason I feel this way is because of how simple she really is. In the moment, I just kept getting unlucky. Several times, I would sneak up right behind her for her to just counter my shit, or I would be hiding behind something and she would just start shooting at me. After a good hour or so of yelling at my monitor, I finally put on the stealth suit. This suit is the meta. Yeah, this suit is busted. It legit allows you to walk up behind her with no consequences, as it removes your footsteps when crouched. After putting the suit on, I instantly ended the fight, which was paid off with an aura clash of the century.
What do you say to one last showdown?
Yeah, alright.
After this, it's pretty much the end of the game. On top of predicting it spot on, we also get a major payoff.
I don't take orders from anyone now.
So tell me this man's about to save the world and get some pussy. This moment didn't really come as a shock to me, because she had been teasing this man the entire game. What did shock me is that she shows her true colors, proving that she cares for him a good bit while also being a triple agent. The details aren't really important, but the truth about the boss is. Here, she tells Snake that the boss went rogue as a plan to save the world from all-out war. That's why she only wounded you at different parts in the game when she could have killed you. Not only was this unexpected, but it added a layer of depth to the character that made me want to play this entire series. Snake, who now took the title of Big Boss, knows that the United States government isn't truly on his side. It doesn't matter how many praises they give him, they have lost his trust and respect. It's an ending that I didn't really expect because this game was a roller coaster the entire way. As for my guesses, I got 6 out of 7 correct, which is a really good start to this video. Still, this great run could very well be decimated with this next title.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill.
It may be hard to believe, but I've never seen a thing about this game's story. All I knew was that I was about to be in for a wild ride. Something that is going to make this challenge very easy or extremely hard. Personally, I believe it's the latter, even though they opened up with a good amount of context.
The name on the envelope said Mary, my wife's name. It's ridiculous. Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago. So then why am I looking for her?
Telling us the main character's motivations right away was perfect for me, as I'm very limited on time. Still, this pacing didn't remain for long. After about 5 minutes of walking, we would meet Angela, who honestly brought more confusion than clarity. It was nearly impossible to read her. Like, is she trapped here? Is she part of it all? Or better yet, is she even real? Sadly, these questions wouldn't be answered in the first hour. Really, the only good piece of info she gave us was,
this town, there's something wrong with it? And it's not just the fog either.
Is it dangerous?
Maybe.
in the end, this doesn't really matter, as our character only has one thing on his mind, and
I guess I don't really care if it's dangerous or not. I'm going either way.
sticking to his word, we would march deeper into the blinding fog. After another 10 to 15 minutes of walking, we would finally enter the town of Silent Hill. I like these houses. I feel like I never see houses like this in a game.
Bro,
Now, while I loved walking around this town and taking it all in, the amount of time it took started to worry me. I had no clue what was going on here. So, with the clock ticking down fast, I made sure to read every note, check every drawer, and basically do anything I could to get a taste of context. While the notes did help give some guesses, the main thing that allowed that was the monsters. While they did straight up look like a shoelace monster, I knew that their design and attacks would be very important to the story, though I had yet to learn the true extent of that. From here, the game really started to pick up. World got more detailed, while the monsters started popping up a ton. Oh! I honestly didn't think things would escalate this fast. The way they would just pop out of nowhere made turning every corner horrifying. This also ate up a ton of my time as I was constantly checking corners. By far the worst of this was the apartments. I feel like at any minute something was going to jump out at me. Once you make it out, you realize it was only a few bugs, which felt very intentional. They don't like to scare you in predictable ways. Instead, it'll happen when you least expect it. Regardless of them being scary or looking like a shoe, I feel like their true design was to show that people are trapped inside of them. On top of that, the fog that infects this town may be what makes them puke as an attack. Of course, it was hard to know for sure, so I rushed to find more answers. Timer. Yeah, I'm cooked. This game had me hooked within the first hour. That's without question. However, I wish they'd given me a bit more, because the main things I have to go off of are the monsters, Angela, the abandoned town, and our deceased wife. Other than that, I have no clue as to why or what is happening in this town. All I can do is try my best with what I was given. So, let's start from the top. As you know, we immediately learn that the main character is looking for his deceased wife. And while they make it seem like she is alive, I think she's 1000% dead. I think the town is using his wife to draw him here, which could explain the lack of people along with the fog. This place seems to feed off people who are lost and looking for something. That theory is kind of backed by the first girl we meet, who explains that she's looking for her mother. I feel she's very important to the story, like maybe she's tied to what caused all of this. Besides her, I don't think she'll be the last person we meet, and seeing how our character is drawn here, I'd say the others likely will be too. On a different note, the monsters in this town could explain the lack of people, though not because they were killed. Visually, it looks like the people are trapped inside these things. Plus, the way they attack seems more like desperation than anger. From this, I think our character will free them from the fog's grip. To do so, we may have to fight some big scary dude controlling it all. After killing him, the fog will lift, turning the monsters back into people. And my last guess would have to be that the jukebox plays some important role in all of this. Maybe turning it on will push back the fog. They do say music is the fastest way to the soul, but that's just where my head's at. Let's keep playing and see how wrong I was. Let me in! Hey, this place looks nice. Sadly, about 10 minutes after my hour was up, I would make it to the main apartments. Personally, this was by far the scariest place. Oh my... Ah! Oh! Oh! The dark and claustrophobic environment perfectly embodies the eerie vibe of the game, and when accompanied with the unique leg monsters, it would be an understatement to say they took years off my life. I don't think I've really played any horror games where the monsters hide to scare you. It was something that really stood out to me and made entering every room that much more terrifying. The apartments also proved one of my easier guesses, other survivors. The first being Laura. We know nothing about her now, but while looking for her, we find Eddie.
I didn't do it. I swear I didn't kill him.
It's all right. I'm not saying that you did. Look, my name is James. James Sunderland.
Eddie.
Eddie, okay.
He acted like the most real person to me, as if he too just arrived here. Strangely, he agrees that he was only here because he's looking for something. This felt minor in the moment, but is a big part of the story later on. After this, we leave, continuing our main mission of finding Mary. A few puzzles and a lot of locked doors later, I would eventually enter a room that I would never forget. I knew from this moment alone, this guy was about to be the main boss. Still, as I followed him into the door, I realized I have no clue what's going on here. I couldn't have been more wrong about how this place works. To me, it seemed like the fog was an alternate dimension, but the other world actually is, adding to my confusion tenfold, so I had no idea what was real or not. Something I'm confident in saying was intentional. This entire place seems to be molded by James's mind. In the moment I didn't notice this, but after spending a good amount of time here, I started to piece it together. Although, after getting to take on Pyramid Head one-on-one, he would run away scared, allowing us to leave this place to then find Maria.
Mary? No. You're not.
Do I look like your girlfriend?
No, my late wife. I can't believe it. Your face, your voice, you could be...
My name is Maria.
Besides it feeling nice to not be alone here, she also felt a bit fake to me. Similar to the little girl in Angela, her tone just came off so automated. So, I didn't trust her one bit. No, man, we can't trust people now. They can pretend to be people, or she's just doing something weird. That's the best case scenario. Worst case, it's a monster. My suspicions weren't completely misguided with her. I mean, she hasn't turned into any horrifying monster or anything, but she isn't real. She's actually James's wife, or more so his perfect vision of her. We don't learn this till the very end, but I had a feeling she was made by this place to mess with him. The way James reacted to seeing her, along with how she reacted to seeing Laura, were big signs to me. I mean, he legit said she looks and sounds like his wife. Plus, Maria explained that she felt the need to protect Laura for some reason. Of course, the reveal for that wouldn't come until the very end as well. Still, they were clear signs that something was wrong here. A feeling that only escalated as we began to chase Laura.
Laura, wait!
It's okay. We don't want to hurt you.
A majority of the game is spent trying to get her, as she knows something about Mary, forcing me to run back and forth through the hospital for almost 4 hours straight. This was by far the most tedious area of the game, and I loved every second of it. I mostly enjoyed the overall vibe of it, because this far into the game, most things weren't scary anymore. Of course, the hospital brought back all of those feelings, plus more. The oddly clean look made it feel like we weren't alone, but you never find a single monster until you make it to the basement. After that, things become much worse. A ton of monsters spawn along with some new ones. I see you, James. I see you. On a real note though, the nurses are pretty fun to fight because they attack you in a way that actually takes skill. The only thing I did not like about them is how even when you think they're dead, some of them would get back up again. It didn't make much sense when I'd smash their head in repeatedly.
Hot diggity dog!
After this, I would finally make it to Laura. I was ready for some well-earned info.
Why do you keep running away from me? And how do you know about Mary?
What's the big deal?
Why can't you just tell me?
You gonna yell at me if I don't?
I won't, please, just...
We met at the hospital last year.
Stop lying. Laura, I'm sorry.
Fine, don't believe me. See if I care!
Hey, bro, come on now, dawg.
I get why you freaked out now, but man, this sucked in the moment. Going through all of this to learn nothing and get locked in a room with a foot fetish Badusi monster was not worth it. Thankfully though, it paid off with one of my favorite areas of the game. This would be my second time in the other world, which I'd say they did it way better than before. They put a ton of detail to make the hospital look more run down, blocking entire hallways, opening new or locked rooms, and best of all, the new nurses. Their attack patterns with the knife made it very hard to dodge. Visually, they just got an emo touch to them. Once again, they managed to bring back the scary tone with the enemies as well as the visual style. I also think the change of pace was perfect as you don't spend too much time here. Better yet, they use this time to reveal one of the craziest things. Maria isn't real. You see, I had my suspicions, but her death clarifies that when she returns unfazed later on. Interestingly, I feel like all of this is James's mind grappling with the death of his wife. Part of him knows she's dead, and the other part thinks she's still sending letters from Silent Hill. Even crazier, she is killed by Pyramid Head, aka James. I had zero way of knowing this while playing, but after beating it, it's insane learning all of these small hints throughout the story, with by far the darkest one being the boss you save Angela from.
Daddy!
It's insane that they use the actual fight to make you live through her trauma. Fighting him is pointless, instead it's better to run and hide. The minute I entered this closet, I knew some dark stuff was going on here. On a level design that I don't think I can go into detail on, they quite literally represent Angela's trauma perfectly. In the moment, it went over my head a bit as I thought the whole thing was about James. But in the end, it became obvious that he isn't the only one shaping the world here. Regardless, I proceeded to kill the monster by piping him to death. This would then allow me to finally return to the normal foggy town, ultimately feeling like a breath of fresh air after being trapped in the horrifying labyrinth for hours. The shit I saw down there made the normal town feel like a holiday retreat, even though it kinda was as we arrived at the hotel, which happens to be the last place Mary could be.
Happy 8th birthday, Laura. Your friend, Mary.
Laura, how old are you?
I turned 8 last week.
Mary couldn't have died 3 years ago.
This drew a lot of confusion from James, but it instantly made me think that he killed his wife. Things weren't adding up. The little girl saw her 3 days ago, James said she died 3 years ago. This uncertainty led me to believe that James was hiding something, building a bit of distrust in the character I was playing as. This whole time you get to hear his thoughts on things as well as see his heroic actions. I had no clue there was something darker hidden within. Of course, it would all be revealed after doing a bunch of puzzles as well as entering the basement with no weapons, which, can I say, was just a pretty cool level. And the fact you have to run made it way scarier. Like I was saying though, these moments forced James to face the music. No way. Killed his wife? Yeah. I don't think I could have ever guessed that. Also, now I understand why this game is held in such high regard, as its storytelling did something unlike no other at the time. I mean, this was such a big blow that everything after felt like it was happening in 2x speed. So, by the end of this, I was at a loss for words.
Better do something about that cough.
In the end, this is probably the hardest game I could have picked for this challenge. There's just so much story baked into the world, and with just 1 hour, you only get like 2% of it. For that reason, it's safe to say I failed in guessing this game, as I got 3 out of 7 guesses correct. What was a strong start is now a less than stellar one, as this game destroyed my score. Regardless of how difficult guessing this game's ending was, I'm just glad I finally played it, because this truly was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Likewise, this next game would go down as one of my favorites as well. Again, it may be hard to believe, but I've never played or seen anything on it. In fact, whether or not I have to eat one of the world's hottest sauces hinges entirely on my performance here. Thankfully, the opening to this game already gave me a ton of ideas. That said, I have a lot to learn in this first hour before I can make any real guesses. Of course, after seeing the biggest tornado I've ever seen, I knew some crazy stuff was going to go down. Something that gets proven within seconds of the scene as we flash back to the main character in class, questioning if she was asleep or if that vision was real. Well, seeing how she finds out about her powers minutes later, I'd say the first scene will be very important. Besides that, they also set the tone in this moment as well, proving that her character can not only save lives with her gifts, but also that this isn't going to be some Disney story. They even use this time to introduce one of the main antagonists, something that is clear by not only his actions, but others too. I mean, the principal glazes him so much that he thinks we're lying about him having a gun. In an American school. Like, this ain't no little fib, people could legit die. We then find out why the principal doesn't care after talking to some students, learning that Nathan's family owns the school along with a ton of other stuff in the town. On top of that, he has his own club with all of the popular kids called the Vortex Club, which is a very odd name seeing how we saw a giant one at the start. Plus, their logo is the same symbol as our rewind effect. This made me start to think that maybe there's somebody else with powers here, and one of our goals might be to figure out who exactly it is. Before we can do that though, we run into the classic school bully.
Oh look, it's Max Caulfield, the selfie hoe of Blackwell.
I knew right away she was going to be a problem the entire game. Even worse, she is best friends with Nathan. Nothing good will come from that. Anyways, seeing how my timer was draining rapidly, I continued talking to people so I could gather as much information as possible. Not long after this, the timer would finally hit 0.
I hope she doesn't kill Victoria.
Timer's up, but I'm gonna let
Zachary
this
should worry too.
convo go out. And seeing how I was able to learn a good bit, I feel like I have some pretty decent guesses. So unlike the last game, you actually get a good amount of info from the first hour, especially with the intro, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say might be the actual ending of the game. After learning our character has powers, it wouldn't be far-fetched to assume she returns back in time to save someone she loves. I couldn't possibly know who, but if I had to guess, it would probably be a love interest like Warren. Now, this will be my most out there guess, but I think Warren has powers as well, mostly considering that I don't think that tornado was natural at all. Something may happen to make him evil, or maybe Nathan's the one with powers. He is head of the Vortex Club after all. Regardless, I doubt our character is the only one with them. Outside of powers though, they showed 2 plot points: Nathan killing Chloe and a girl going missing. Personally, I think the main teacher is tied to that. I don't really have a good reason for that other than the fact that he was the first male figure shown. And I recently watched the anime Erased, which has a very similar plot to this game. It may just be cliche, but I wouldn't be surprised. As for Nathan, I feel like he's mixed up in some bad stuff. Maybe he's pushing drugs to pay off a debt. If so, I think he'll end up dying. Now, going back to Max, I think she'll begin to overuse her powers, ultimately revealing some sort of limit. It might even mess with her memory so much that the only thing to repair it will be the pictures. In the end, I also think Max will be fated with sacrificing herself, maybe to save Warren like I said, or maybe just everyone she cares about. I really don't think there will be any sort of happy ending, but there's only one way to find out.
You again. Go! Go! I got this!
Get in, Max!
Just letting him get his ass beat? Right away, we get our next suspect for the missing girl, the school security guard.
Excuse us, this is official campus business.
While this did make him a little sus, I feel like they were trying to throw doubt in the air, though it wouldn't be enough to throw me off the teacher. Regardless, after talking to some students, we would end the day with Nathan legit attacking us with no consequences. Luckily, Warren pulled up and took an ass beating for us, and the blue-haired girl gave us a ride. This is where she learns that this is actually her childhood best friend, and after some catching up, we tell her the truth about her powers. Surprisingly, she believes us, but also tests us with random items in her pockets.
Amazeballs. I literally just got chills all over my neck. You have powers.
Now, with her full trust, she takes us to have some fun with our powers, learning that she can not only go back in time, but she can also move time around her. They even reveal that I was right on the money about her overusing her powers. Though it doesn't take much resting for her to use them again, as minutes later she would have to save Chloe for the second time.
Yes, I did it. You okay? You saved me again. Crazy.
I didn't realize this till after beating the game, but it almost seems like this moment was the universe trying to correct itself. I could be wrong, but it for sure applies later. Before I get ahead of myself though, we'll be forced to save another person from certain death.
What are you doing here, Max?
This is by far the biggest moment in the game. Not only do they force you to save her without using your powers, but you also unlock a new one, freezing time. Sadly, they don't use this later, but it was perfect for this moment.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
The payoff for reading every note in her room was massive. Not to mention, this changes the main character's view of her powers. This will be very important later on. For now, you were given a pretty important choice. Oh my god, this is a hard one, bro. Because I'm sus of... Well, I know Nathan isn't the one who took anybody, but he is like a... He's a Diddy, bro. He's Diddy through and through. The other two are like my main suspects for the kidnapping. But if I'm gonna be honest, I got way more leaning on this on the left. Because why would he take a picture of her walking away? But also, why would she be crying? Like, oh, I wish you would have told us something, bruh. Oh my god, this is hard. You see, I knew this would change a lot, so I made the choice to blame the security guard. Even though they were really trying to pin everything on him, I was only about 12% convinced it was actually him. The teacher had the other 88%, so for that reason, I wanted to keep him around. you know, keep your enemies closer. This is also why Nathan wasn't an option for me either. While I didn't think he had anything to do with the missing girl, I knew he was bad news. So getting him kicked out would only make matters worse. This turned out to be a pretty good call, as the security guard was completely cleared not too long after. In fact, he was acting so weird because he was suspicious of the teacher as well. Although in the midst of all of this, the main character would make the biggest mistake with her powers, going back to save Chloe's father.
What is this? William is here.
You can take the bus, right? The stop is right down the street.
This I can do. Good call, Max.
This changes a ton, seemingly for the better. We are now friends with Nathan and Victoria, who aren't the bullies they once were. Plus, Chloe's family is still together. However, it's then revealed that instead of her father getting in a car accident, it happened to Chloe. This is the moment that I feel like is a message to her character. No matter what she does, she can't save everyone and get her way. But of course, she can't accept this future, so she goes back and allows her father to die normally. Something I think even he would want. Nevertheless, this moment revealed one of my bigger guesses to be true, that she would need photos to remember the past. Though I had no clue they would allow her to travel back to them, story-wise, I love that there are consequences to her doing this. We see that the animals begin to act strange, but by far the craziest thing was the double moons. This cemented the fact that I was far off about thinking the storm was caused by another powered individual. Still, it makes sense that what she is doing has an effect on the world. Plus, this again grows the character when she vows to only use her powers when necessary, like when trying to find Rachel. Surprisingly, during this entire hunt, all the evidence point towards Nathan, eventually being confirmed when they find his bunker with pictures of the missing girl and even others.
The binder marked Victoria, but it's empty.
All those binders are filled with other victims. Victoria has to be next. Nathan must be planning to dose her tonight at the Vortex Club party.
Though the proof was right in front of me, I still knew it was the teacher. I felt like this was all setting Nathan up, something that is confirmed when you go to confront him. At first, he is nowhere to be found. Then he sends a text to Chloe to lure them in, finally revealing who we've been hunting. This was probably one of the coolest areas in the game, which sounds crazy to say when given the severity of the situation. However, the fact you trick him into letting you see your journal was just insane.
I can go all the way back to the moment this all started. Max, this could be your chance to fix everything. For good.
Here is where she creates another alternate timeline, going back to save Chloe for the third time and get the teacher in trouble much sooner. This in turn causes the vortex to start tearing apart the town, so she goes back in time once again.
He burned my diary. That's why I'm still here.
I really had no clue how she was going to get out of this, but out of nowhere, even though he may have fumbled here, I like how you get to use your powers to coach him around. Once she gets free, she remembers that Warren took a photo of them as they were about to confront Nathan. Another Warren W. This allows her to go back and convince Chloe to tell her stepdad about the teacher, leading to the end, or I guess the start. Regardless, as we come full circle in the story, as predicted might I add, the world begins to break.
Don't try to hide, Max! Get over here! Let me capture you!
I don't know if this was just a vision or if it actually happened. Either way, it showed her the consequences of her actions. So once you return to the normal world, you are given two of the hardest choices to make. Save your best friend that you've been doing this all for in the first place, or let them die to save the town. Chloe has a big character defining moment here as well, because she lifts a lot of the burden off of Max's shoulders, granting her her wish she would return back to the classroom that morning, letting Nathan kill Chloe and helping the security guard catch the teacher, which I feel still messes with the timeline, but isn't changing anything too massive. In the end, it's pretty tragic that she is forced to let a friend die like that, knowing that she has the power to save her, of course, at the cost of many other lives. Nevertheless, this is what makes it such a great game and story. I fully understand why people say it's still the best in the series. When it comes to my guesses though, I'd say I did the best with this one. Guessing the teacher from the start was very lucky, seeing how they throw a lot of suspicion at others as well. Like, for a while, I legit thought the security guard had a hidden basement in their house. See, I know for a fact this is a false store, bruh. Look at that, that's just so. Though my biggest flop was probably that I thought there would be another supervillain type character, or just another person with powers. I feel like that would have been a cool premise, but it would have made things even more confusing. Either way, several of my big guesses were good enough, like Nathan dying. Sure, I didn't predict it would be the teacher, but he did die. Also, with the intro being the ending, I was about 80% confident with this one. However, I had no clue how important that moment was to the story. In the end, I got 3.5 out of 6 guesses right, equaling to exactly 62.5% for all games combined. Just so we're clear, the 0.5 comes from the Nathan dying prediction. I was right that he would die, but I was wrong about how. Even if you remove that half point, I still narrowly escaped the Mad Dog sauce. Though it won't be the last time I face it. Regardless, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to click the one on screen now, cause I bet you'll enjoy it too. If not, thanks for watching and have a blessed day.